Hi guys, and welcome back to Chengi's World. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been looking forward to doing this video for forever. I have been thinking about it, brewing about it, because I know that this is something that really is on the pulse of so many of our hearts. Something that I talk to a lot of women about, something that I've spoken to women about through time, and something that I really feel we need to sort of have an honest conversation about. What do you think? So let's discuss this matter and this issue of why men are afraid of commitment. But before I go into it, you guys know the drill. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, because I'd love for you to join my world, because it's on and popping in Chengi's World. And for the rest of you who have already been here, I love you guys. You know I do. You are my heartbeat. I care about you. I pray for you. Mwah, you are just amazing. So keep tuned, keep coming back, because I always got something for you. And make sure you press the like button, not so like, hello, and leave a comment whatever happens. So why are men afraid of commitment? I'll be back in just a second. So I'm back. And the answer, to be quite fair, is that men are not afraid of commitment. Ding, 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 ding. This is, again, if you've seen my other video on the one I did last about abundance and scarcity and the mindsets that we allow to penetrate our mindsets, is what happens is these signals and these thoughts, these random, irrational, not thought through thoughts go out there into our atmosphere, and we just embrace them as truth. And they're not the truth. The truth is, men want commitment as much as women do. Every man wants to fall in love and have a happy family and have children and have the same things that we want, but they just have a different way of going about it, and they have a different set of things that they require in order for them to settle. But that doesn't mean that every man out there is trying to do a runner and not settle. So what I want to talk about today is why why if you are dating someone and you're courting them and it's been years and you still haven't got the ring, what's really going on there? And for those of us who are probably still to meet that one person, what can we do to ensure, and what mindset? Because everything comes from mindsets, right? Everything comes from beliefs that create mindsets. So what can we do to affect certain belief processes? First and foremost, we can discard of the fact that men are afraid of commitment. They're not at all. Men want to love deeply. They want somebody to share life with. They want the same sort of emotional things that we require. Now, once we discard of that, then we now are left with the option of looking at, so what is it that makes it seem like we're dragging them into marriage or into a level of commitment that you know what I mean? Sometimes it feels that way, doesn't it? It feels like you're doing the God, marry me. Okay. And why it seems so easy for some women to just get a guy to commit. And like I said earlier in my other video, it's about mindsets. It's about belief systems affecting our thoughts and therefore our performances, okay? So I want to address this old age thing. And you know, one of the things I love the most, I used to, when I was ministering, I remember preaching a series called The Ancient Paths for the Modern Woman. And that is because I wanted to address in the modern woman's mind that the older woman, the older generation and the ancient woman wasn't an idiot. There was a reason why she got married, why she didn't have issues with commitment, and how she managed to keep her marriage going, because she had a certain mindset that is lost in the modern day generation. But I won't go there today because I had to take women away for a whole weekend to go through a series of teachings about this, to begin to reshape minds over a weekend. It's not something that I can do in 15 minutes. But I said that to just say that we need to sometimes borrow thought from when it last worked. I'm always looking and thinking, when is the last time it worked and where did it break? And And how can we fix it? Because unless you can diagnose the problem and where it went wrong, you can't fix it for your generation or for yourself. So my mom said to me, she was here with me for a few months, and she turned around and she said something that most of us modern girls would roll our eyes and kiss our teeth and move it. She said, Chingy, man marry for sex. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. Now I know what she was saying, but not very articulately. What she was saying is, no one's gonna pay for the milk if they can get it for free. Now, we've heard that before and we roll our eyes and think, oh, that's so aged. But it's the reality. So this is not just a man problem. This is just because women do it more than men do. Okay, so let's say, for instance, Louboutin calls you and they say, look, we want you to come and get as many pairs of shoes. We think you're a great girl. We think you're a lovely girl. We think you got style and you look good. So they say to me, Chengi, you know, come and get some shoes. I'll be like, hey, okay. And they say to me, you know, take as many pairs as you like, try them on, wear them to occasions. And you know what? If you kind of like them, really like them, keep them. But you know, it would be nice if you would sort of pay us something when you're ready, though. When you're ready, girl. And then I'm like, what? That works for me. Okay. So I go to the boutique and I try on all my Louboutin shoes. And I'm like looking good. I take like 10 pairs of the best, hottest shoes. And they package them up for me, put them nicely, put a little bow on it, and send me off. I don't have to sign a contract. I don't have to sign a release. I don't have to sign nothing to say that I will promote them or that I will talk about them or that I will pay anything or that I might even come back. They are just letting me go off with 40 grand's worth of shoes because I'm a nice girl and I seem like a decent girl, and they like the way I look and they like the way I make them feel when I try on their shoes. Now, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna wear those shoes, girl. I'm gonna be looking good. I'm gonna be like, hi, Louboutin gave them to me. And everybody's gonna be commenting on my hot shoes. And when the months will pass, the years will pass, and Louboutin will be there sitting crying and going, we haven't had a payment from Chengi. We haven't been paid by that girl. And I won't even be thinking about it because you so happily bestowed these shoes on me. You didn't require me to sign anything. You didn't ask me to do anything. You just gave them to me in the hope that I would love them. And out of my common decency and the goodness of my heart, I would go into my purse and pay you something. In fact, I might just pay you the whole lot. You didn't do a credit check on me. You just saw me on YouTube and thought, she seems like a nice girl. Now, that is never going to happen on this planet. It's not going to happen. There is no way Louboutin is going to ask me to do that. And if they did, they would want me to sign something. They would want something in return for their 40 grand's worth of shoes. They would want me to do something for them. And they would make it absolutely clear up front from the beginning. We're going to offer you this deal. You can take 10 pairs of shoes, but we want you to promote them on your channel. We want you to do this, we want you to do that, and would like you to pay a deposit of 10 grand just to make sure that they're going to put some conditions around. But us girls, we have no contract. We have zero contract. We give away our goods. We treat that man like a prince. And guess what? In our silly little heads, we're thinking to ourselves, if I show him what an amazing, awesome, amazing woman I am, what an incredible lover I am, that I can swing from the chandeliers, and that I can really keep it hot and sexy, and that he can always have it when he wants it, or whatever. If I pour my best version of myself onto this man, guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna come home one day with a shiny rock and say, Chengi, will you marry me? And we go on year number 1. You give your best show. You always look pretty. You're always cooking. You're always cleaning. You're like, don't you think I'm nice? And he's not even thinking about marrying your behind. He's not even thinking about it. He's just thinking, hey, I have the best life going and I don't have to do anything for it except turn up and get a service. You would never think, oh, of all your bills and all the things that you have to do that you got to go pay Louboutin. They gave it to you for free. They must can afford it, right? They clearly can afford to give free stuff. So when a guy is sitting there and you are giving him everything, I look at some relationships and I think, okay, so apart from the fact that there's no ring on your finger, what are you doing that a wife wouldn't do? So many of us are doing for our boyfriends or our other halves what a wife would do for nothing, like no commitment. And we keep doing it in the hopes that he's just gonna put a ring on it. He's just gonna see your value and put a ring on it. But guess what? It doesn't work that way. Now, what you need to do is realize that you as a woman must have a contract. Now, we all know that a verbal contract is legally binding in a court of law. Certainly in the UK. I don't know about what country you're in, but if you can... Now, I can hear some of you saying, yeah, but a guy could say, yeah, I'll marry you and I'll agree to your contract and I'll sign it verbally, but then he'll go change his mind. Guess what? You sign contracts with your electricity, with your phone, with your mobile phone bill, and you didn't always pay it on time. No. But guess what? Because you had that contract in place, you had to answer. You had to explain to somebody because they're going to cut you off, right? It's not about whether the other person, you have a contract simply for the very reason that people don't always honor their side of the bargain. But we also have contracts so that before we enter into any kind of arrangement, we all know what's going down. We all understand what we're working towards. You will get a service. This will be the kind of service you will get. This is how much you're going to get. And in return, you shall pay this amount monthly. And everybody walks away having agreed to those terms and conditions. Or they will negotiate. Can you lower the price? I want that, but can you make it a bit lower, a bit cheaper? And you negotiate, shake hands on it, and keep it moving. That's what we do in every other arena of life. But when it comes to love and romance, baby girl, we're giving it away for free. And hoping that that guy's gonna see that we're decent, lovely girl who would go out of our way and he's gonna do right by us. Baby girl, ain't that kind of party. No human being, if your boss paid you your year's wage in advance, tell me how many times you're gonna show up to work. Tell me how many times you would show up. You're just not going to show up. You won't show up. You won't show up sometimes because the truth is when we get things in advance, we have no desire to follow through. So here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting that guy to sign your contract. Okay. Now, this is where I was talking about abundance. When you have a scarcity mindset, you don't want any guy signing any kind of contract or putting any guy off in case he runs away, because men know that we're afraid of them running, so they'll play the game. Now, if you know that you've got an abundance and you believe you have an abundance and you are experiencing abundance, then your job is not to try and get a guy to stick around, you know. Your job is to vet and keep it moving. Okay, so why are we afraid to say to a guy when we meet him in the first 3 dates very clearly, you know, I am that kind of girl who's like, looky here, I want to get married and I want a ring from Tiffany's. Okay, so the Tiffany's thing doesn't really matter, but you know what I mean. I've said this before. It doesn't have to be from Tiffany's, but the fact is, I want to get married and I want that to happen within the space of a year. That's my deal. That's what I'm offering on the table. So I don't go on a date and say, looky here, I want to get married. But it gets in there in conversation. Most guys will say to you, so what is it you're looking for? What is it that you want? Or where do you see your life 5 years from now? And if they don't ask you, you ask them, because they're going to say to you, how about you? So, you know, they always say to me, so what is it that you're looking for? What do you want out of your life? Well, within a year, I'm hoping to be married with children. That's really important to me, that I get married. And most guys can't believe I said it. But most times they're just actually impressed that I've got this self-confidence and the sense of, well, it doesn't have to be your behind. You don't have to be the one to marry me. It's like, dude, in that kind of party, I'm not desperate like that. I'm just saying that this is what I'm about. And when I say to them, it's all very matter of fact. You have to say it matter of factly, this is what I'm about. And at that point, it's up to him to negotiate his terms and conditions. Well, I don't know, a year might be too soon for me because I've got this and this and this and this. Maybe in 2 years. No, I'm not about 2 years. Maybe a year and a half, whatever. And at that point, you get him to sign your contract. And then you can state at what point you will release certain privileges. You know, within it, for me, it's quite simple. You know, I don't sleep with a guy unless I'm married to him. So I know that most of you girls are probably doing, I could never say that. Oh my God. He would, like, they're my standards. They don't have to be yours. You know, those are my personal standards. That's what I've decided for myself. But you could say, you know what, unless I've got an engagement ring, or whatever your standards of commitment are, and whatever kind of commitment you're getting, you start to let him know that this is when I release my goods. This is when you get the good stuff, okay? And the truth is, a good and decent guy is going to sign your contract. He's going to sign your contract. And when if he reneges on that contract, or if he violates that contract, then you are within your rights at that point to do what I said in my other video about ultimatum, being sissies. You're within your right to pack your bags and go. And it gives you a time frame upon which to get the commitment that you want, a realistic time frame, because you discussed it. Now, a guy who's not even looking to commit on any kind of level, because of whatever reason, he's going to keep on moving. Now, if you're already in a relationship and he never signed your contract, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means you need to sit down and sign a contract. Babes, we've been together now for 5 years, 2 years, and I'm ready to get married. So, you know, I really think that in the next 6 months, we need to be talking about marriage. And if that doesn't work for you, then I would be absolutely considering dating other people, and I can date you as well. But, you know, obviously privileges will be revoked until, you know, I meet somebody, if it's not you, who is ready to give me what I want, because I'm ready for that. And it doesn't have to be you that gives it to me. And he can say, well, oh, I don't like the idea of that. Well, you're gonna have to sign my contract, because there's never a point where you cannot introduce a contract. Because the bottom line is, how do you know when somebody's violating you if they never agreed to anything? And a lot of guys know how to not commit verbally or emotionally in that kind of way. So that's what I'm saying, is that you need to have this guy sign your contract. Now, I'm going to see you guys on my other video, because I don't want to make this one too long, but I'm going to talk about some of the other reasons why your man has not committed. So we'll make this part 1, and I'll see you again in part 2. Take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.